All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. Now, the move to completely take over Nigeria is being finalized by Tinubu and his cohorts. Look at this. PDP holds emergency meeting over Wike's revocation of National Secretariat land. Just hours ago, Wike revoked the ownership of the land upon which the PDP secretariat was built. That is tantamount to seizing the PDP secretariat. And at this rate, I am beginning to enjoy the level that Wike and Tinubu are taking this impunity to. Let the high and mighty also feel it, so that we will decide to either fall together or fight together. Because these guys are completely taking this nation to a level where, anarchy is now the only way out. For the past 6 months, there has been interference in the governance of Rivers State because Wike wants to continue to control more than 60% of the state's resources even after leaving office. And the governor, FUBARA, said, no, you can't continue to control the state like that. You have left office. And the first drastic action after a lot of back and forth from Tinubu was to put the entire Rivers State in trouble by suspending their allocation. First of all, I wonder why that had to happen, because the Minister of Marine, Oyetola, is doing in Osun State something similar to what Wike is doing in Rivers State. But it was in Rivers State that Tinubu had allocations withheld to punish the state for no just cause. And I hope all those who helped Wike rig the presidential election in Rivers State are happy now with all this development, because elections have consequences. And finally, tonight, Tinubu has declared a state of emergency in Rivers State. And not only did he declare a state of emergency, he did the most bizarre thing ever in the history of this country. Please, if you have ever heard of anything like this and it stood, let me know. If you heard that maybe a president or anybody ever did this anywhere and it stood, let me know, because I have never heard about it. The only time Obasanjo tried it, it did not stand. Tinubu has suspended the governor of a state. He suspended Governor FUBARA, his deputy, and all elected House of Assembly members for an initial period of 6 months. Yes, you heard me right. Not 1 week, not 2 weeks, not 1 month, but 6 whole months. And this might set Rivers State on fire. Before I show you his speech suspending FUBARA and how Nigerians reacted, let's take this reaction from a lawyer in Rivers State.
Let's make this clear. Let me clarify this. Now, what Wike wanted was a situation where he would have a third term through the current governor of Rivers State. And the governor has looked at it that whatever the plans of the minister is not in the best interest of Rivers people. And that is why this is part of the reasons why you're seeing that there is a disagreement between the governor and the minister of the FCT. And that is why he has taken the stand to rather stand with the people of Rivers State than to stand with the FCT minister. That's why we're having these challenges today. Now, let me say this. I can't remember the last time we had, ever since we had Wike as governor of Rivers State, I can't remember the last time we had a free and fair election in Rivers State. By my own assessment and calculation, I can't remember the last time we had a free and fair election. We all know how Wike muscled his way through that particular election, how he stopped opposition from campaigning. Even the presidential candidate of the PDP was stopped from campaigning. And let me say this. I have always shouted about the high-handedness of the FCT minister in Rivers State and how he has led Rivers State and took Rivers State 10 years backward as governor. Today, we are seeing a glimpse of light, a gleam of light, and that light, he wants to quench that particular light because everything has to be about him. Today, anybody who does not support him, he wakes up in the morning, calls them names. As I speak to you today, they are after the chief judge of the state. This same chief judge is after today, who is actually referring and calling names. Of course, it was this same governor who appointed the chief judge. The Speaker of the House of Assembly was then the leader of the House of Assembly when this current chief judge was screened as the chief judge of the state. But what did they do? They did not remember that he actually falsified his age. Now that the man seemed not to play ball with them because they want to impeach the governor, They now remember that, oh, he falsified his age. They are now coming up with age falsification, trying to intimidate the chief judge, to bend him towards whatever their whims and caprices. That we will resist. That we will say no to. And it's actually unfortunate. See, what is happening in Rivers State is just wicked, wanting to be in control of everything happening in the state. And if you're not in line with whatever he's doing, you're a bad person, you don't have character, you don't keep to your word, and all that. But we all know who does not have character in Rivers State. We get somebody who will say something in the morning, and in the afternoon he's saying something else. All his principles, everything he has fought against in his time as governor, he has gone against them. None of his principles has he kept. This same man, none of his principles has he kept. So today, if you're not doing his bidding, if you're not in line with whatever he's saying, oh, you're a charlatan, you don't have character, you don't have integrity. He's the only person who has integrity. Yet, we have records, different records, where he made statements and never kept to.
You heard that. The point here is very, very clear. What is happening in Rivers State is not a mystery that needs to be unraveled. It is just Wike trying to take control of a state after he had left office. And of course, that will not be strange to Tinubu, because it's the same thing that he did in Lagos. Ever since he left Lagos, he is still the one controlling the state, even now that he has moved to the federal level. Look at what happened recently in the Lagos State House of Assembly. Assembly members impeached a speaker. Tinubu went there, imposed a speaker on them. And that is the same thing this man is joining Wike to do in Rivers State. And now he has gone ahead to set the state on fire by suspending an elected governor for 6 whole months. He even called it an initial period of 6 months, meaning there could still be an extension. This is an elected governor, for God's sake. Let's watch that video.
The latest security report made available to me show that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without governor taking any action to curtail them. I have, of course, given stand order to the security agencies to ensure safety of lives of good people of Rivers State and the oil pipelines. With all this and many more, no good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution to address the situation in the state, which no doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on and evaluated the political situation in Rivers State, and the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State, having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation as required by Section 305, Paragraph 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Similaye FUBARA, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly State are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Advocate Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state in the interests of the good people of Rivers State. For the avoidance of doubt, this declaration does not affect the judicial arm of Rivers State, which shall continue to function in accordance with their constitutional mandate. The administrator will not make any new laws. He will, however, be free to formulate regulations and may be found necessary to do his job, but such regulations will need to be considered and approved by the Federal Executive Council and promoted by the President for the state. This declaration has been published in the Federal Gazette, a copy of which has been forwarded to the National Assembly in accordance with the Constitution. It is my fervent hope that this inevitable intervention will help to restore peace and order in Rivers State by awakening all the contenders to the constitutional imperatives, binding on all political players in the Rivers State in particular and Nigeria as a whole. Long live a united, peaceful, secured, and democratic Rivers State in particular, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a whole. God bless you all for listening. Thank you.
You heard that. Notice that in his whole analysis of the crisis in Rivers State, he didn't even mention Nyesom Wike. Meanwhile, it is clear to everybody that Nyesom Wike is at the center of the crisis. And you know, when we speak, sometimes it will be as if we are being too critical. Is this how leadership should be in the 21st century? This is 2025. Is this what leadership should be in the biggest black nation in the world? That a man will just come and embarrass himself like this, that he's making a speech. Is this not an embarrassment? We know that the core of this problem is Nyesom Wike, and you made the speech without even referring to Nyesom Wike, because those of us that are listening to you are fools or what? Put the whole blame on FUBARA. And it's not like I don't blame FUBARA too. FUBARA has been so gentle, and he does not appear as if he's very ready for this fight. I don't think that FUBARA should obey what Tinubu said there, because he does not have the constitutional right to suspend a sitting governor who was elected by his people. Obasanjo tried it in Plateau State, and Supreme Court ruled that a president does not have the power to suspend a sitting governor. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Ovo says, "This is a very serious issue. An elected government has been suspended." It's a very, very serious issue. I think FUBARA should go ahead and really fight this. It is not supposed to stand. And Ugo Will here says, "The president can declare a state of emergency if there is an imminent security threat to collaborate with the state governments to curb the threat. However, there is no provision in the Constitution that gives the president the right to suspend an elected governor." It is just anarchy everywhere. We are talking about the 6-month suspension that was dished out to Senator Natasha, which is not supposed to be. Many senior advocates of Nigeria have come out to say that there is no way that can stand in any court of law, that the Senate cannot, by its own rules, suspend an elected senator. And now we are seeing another breach of constitution by the Aso Rock, suspending a sitting governor that was elected just like you. How can that work? And Jeje here says, "So for all these 6 months, who will be in control? I guess Wike from Abuja." And Temidayo replied, he said, "Military go be the judiciary, legislature, and executive. Who do anyhow for Rivers now go chop beating or rot for gadroom." Anarchy. And Positivity here says, "There is absolutely no justifiable reason to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State, and doing so is a reckless overreach that threatens to destabilize an already fragile situation." That is it. The teacher says this is illegal and impossible. I think the judiciary should just respect themselves. You cannot just bury this country because of your own greed. If this matter gets to court, the truth has to be said. The likes of Falana should go beyond just running their mouths on Arise TV and channels this time around. All hands must be on deck to revoke this obvious attack on democracy. And Ismail here says, "I thought Supreme Court ruled that the president has no right to do this thing. Obasanjo did it in Plateau State, and Supreme Court ruled he had no right to remove an elected governor." That was the ruling. I hope FUBARA will go to court and that same ruling will be dished out this time around. And brother here says, "This is not an unexpected outcome since FUBARA chose to be tactless, unwise, and heavily idiotic. Let all of them go home to allow peace and sanity return to Rivers State." Honestly, FUBARA has been very dull on this matter. First of all, where are your thugs, FUBARA? Where are your thugs? Where are your goons? Yes, I said it. Where are your thugs? Where is your violence? Ask yourself, what would Wike do in this kind of situation? If it was Wike that was being threatened by a minister as a sitting governor, what would he do? With everything he's controlling in Rivers State, he would have brought back all the Niger Delta militants, all those House of Assembly members that were talking about impeaching you. They supposed they lost one by one. About 15 of them should have been kidnapped. What have you been looking at, FUBARA? And Tayo here says, how many northern governors have been removed due to activities of bandits and Boko Haram? This is injustice. It is clear the president is playing script. Well, whether he's playing script or not, we are going to see in the coming days. I know and I feel that FUBARA is going to take this case to court. If the judiciary is going to totally bury this country and allow this impunity to stand, well, that is left to be seen. Anyway, make I still enter town, make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away.